This is a public announcement. We will shortly commence testing of the station's brown noise generator. Please insert your cork now, and good luck everyone. Testing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1...
Hutton Orbital Radio. This is not the station you're looking for.
Mollusk mania has hit Hutton hard. Fans of the new media sensation Senga the Singing Space Mollusk have descended on the orbital for a concert which is billed as a non-stop musical and pyrotechnic bonanza. As a space mollusk, Senga has a very specific set of environmental requirements, and as such will be performing live from the medium pad. Some of the fans are local, but others have taken the long journey out to Hutton, as the tickets are cheaper, and are only now joining the crowds peering out of the windows for a glance of the pan-galactic superstar. You can spot the ones who came in Stargoid's ship. They're the ones with crisp clothes and smelling slightly of singed hair. Bleachers have been set up on the outside of the station's superstructure for those who can't afford a seat inside, and there's a bit of an obstructed view due to the big aerial, and you have to wear a spacesuit, but they don't mind. It's worth it. A chime sounds and the hangar bay opens. Senga is raised onto the pad, and everyone goes silent. The performance begins with a low, mooing sound, familiar to anyone who has travelled through a space mollusk herd. But then Senga's voice rises and falls, then rises again to a warbling, cooing noise. The crowd goes wild. They're on their feet, singing along. This is Senga's most famous hit, Ooh-ah-loo Parp. Just as things get going, a Red Planet taxi service hauler approaches at high speed, lets out a burst of laser fire in the direction of our diva. Senga manoeuvres away at high speed. For a space mollusk, start that one again. Senga manoeuvres away at high speed for a space mollusk, and the crowd falls silent, aghast at the treatment of their superstar. The hauler promptly moves in and plants itself on the pad. A Remlock driver leans his head out of the window and shouts into a comm, "Taxi for Bullsack!" The crowd turns ugly. Well, the ugly crowd turns nasty. The nasty, ugly crowd storm the hauler and have to be fended off with more laser fire. The driver flicks the V's at them and takes off. As the hauler turns, an advert for Hutton Radio can be seen on the side reading, or would have done if somebody hadn't put the mic live before that reading was read out. Seems galore. So the thing that was on the side read this exactly.
It's Thursday night. It's 8:30 or thereabouts, and our mics are live.
No, they really are this time.
This time.
They really are.
Seamless.
Well, I'm not used to reading the intro. Crikey.
That's why I gave you. It's been a while.
Good evening and welcome to the show. It's us.
And it's them.
What, me?
Yes, you. You're back. Did Alan let you go, or did we have to pay a ransom?
They said something about bagpipes being a cruel and unusual torture, and please would anyone take me back?
Well, we're glad you're back safely. We did like the lessons in GSL last week.
Hang on. You're back too. Quick, totting up the articles. There's one for him. I think we've got something for you. So, possibly, here goes. Hutton pilot in horror crash.
Are Thargoids insane or inept?
Talking of doing the same thing over and over, it's too hot, too messy.
Fame of the dojo spotted for the first time.
Ask yourself, did you really need that paint last week?
And tell yourself that ignoring wars in Kakari just causes people to panic. It's the BGS news.
First, this evening, we've got tales of a dastardly do-wrong doing a big pile of wrong to a hapless Hutton trucker. Space is dangerous. Your pilot's license, and indeed your leg's license if you prefer to live your life on terra firma with your jaunt in a Red Planet taxi, lets you do some incredibly dangerous stuff. Just flying your ship is dangerous. Getting out of the docking area is dangerous. Combat? Most definitely dangerous. Attempting to fly through an anarchic system with a cargo of precious family heirlooms on board? Oh, that attracts all sorts of danger. Then there's 8-sided meanie danger in the form of Thargoids, getting cooked by a sun flying too close to it danger, exploding rock danger from mining running out of O2 while performing, exobiology danger, and much more. The elite galaxy is dangerous. That said, there are unexpected dangers, the ones that come out of nowhere and totally blindside you. In the case of one Hutton trucker, the danger came in the form of another pilot. Not, as you'd imagine, the kind of interaction that was related to all that tasty cargo, but the kind of docking bay manoeuvre that leaves everyone who saw it face-palming and shaking their head before calling for the medevac and the police. Commander Sturmreiter, long-time Hutton trucker, best costume at the Hutton Renaissance Fair winner 4 years in a row, and all-round legend, was heading home after a particularly trying day at the office, and, with the pad in sight, was ready for the company of his nearest and dearest, and possibly a quick trip to the local watering hole. Cue a sudden alarm as a Federal assault ship came boosting through the toast rack, full flight assist off, clipped the front of Sturmreiter's trusty Anaconda and caused him to careen into the scenery. His ship exploded, the culprit hit the back of the wall of the station, and Sturmreiter's emergency jet catapulted him into the station inner wall. Station security scrambled, promptly arresting the guilty FAS pilot for a variety of offences including
Speeding in the docking area.
Flying while under the influence of just about everything you shouldn't be under the influence of.
Hazardous manoeuvres.
Flying furiously.
Having no lights on.
Being a twat.
While medical teams rescued Sturmreiter and took him to the nearest infirmary for repairs, a spokesperson for the hospital says that they've just about managed to bolt Sturmreiter back together again. He's having new body parts grown for him in a nearby tank, and there are likely to be additions to his skeleton which involve Meccano, power tools, and lots of medical-grade gaffer tape and cable ties. We would like to wish Sturmreiter a speedy recovery, and Alvin has sent a message of extreme displeasure to the cell holding the offending drunken pilot, which contained something brown and smelly.
In advance of this week's Vulkarius Thargoid war briefing, we have worrying news that Thargoids might, actually have been reading up on the old adage that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. There has been speculation that the lumbering Thargoid war machine appears to be changing tack. A bit like a supertanker. There's no surprise attack. There's no influx of new deadly spaceships or new tactics that fight off the hordes of commanders that want to see a Titan go boom. But there is something afoot. If Thargoids had feet. I mean, they might have claws, or pods, or something else. With over half of their invasion fleet in itty-bitty bits, and as of yet no discernible advantage to having invaded one of their neighbours other than being labelled as most definitely the bad guys, and proving that Thargoids aren't actually that scary, long has Hutton been wondering what was the point of the invasion. There has been no clear objective to the Thargoid invasion from the outset, other than wanton destruction and giving pilots something to do on their days off when they're not delivering mugs and gin. Something for the astrophotographers to do, something for Galnet News Digest to talk about, and Vulkarius to wipe out. Something to spur humanity into creating new technology and new ships, one might even argue. One might even argue that the war's been beneficial. But there are grumblings about goings-on in the Thargoid-occupied systems that the behaviour around Spire sites appears to be changing. Is this the beginning of the end? Or the end of the beginning? Are we about to see something entirely new in the second half? Will it go into penalties? Will there be extra time? Will Vulkarius get a red card for grabbing a Titan in the penalty box? It remains to be seen in the coming weeks that what exactly these changes mean. Stay tuned later in the show for an update from Vulkarius, some speculation about what might be happening, and of course all the latest tips, tricks, tactics and statistics from the warfront.
Week 96 of Too Hot Too Messy has been another busy one. Dedicated commanders have delivered 713 mugs and 649 gin last week, and they're on track to do the same again. The 1000 Club remains the same, but Stereo MD is on track to be their next member with a whopping 893 mugs delivered so far. They are a lot behind in gin deliveries though, which means Nazgul is sitting on 20th place there with 862 gin. Nice. Overall deliveries are currently sitting at just over 134,000 mugs and 130,000 gin. The approaches are curiously quiet this week with no deliveries to Hutton so far. This may be due to the diversions caused by the workers at Lagrange filling in a micro black hole. Anyway, if you're coming out to Hutton, could you please bring blue elastoplasts, bin bags with a yellow drawstring, and 6 balls of Dublin knitting wool, as I'm knitting a balaclava for Robbie Wrongway. That's why Flossy was meant to read this. Small pad availability is rated as Marie Celeste, and the medium pad is rated as just land quietly so you don't wake the flight controllers. That's it.
Ninjas. Combat 404s. The dark underbelly of on-foot combat. The star-throwing, soft-footed, oh, I didn't see that one coming, silent assassins of the galaxy. While there are publicly visible ninjas, who aren't actually very functional as ninjas as a result, such as the famous Commander Ninj, and of course the ultra-well-known Commander Rampage, the real deadly assassins of the galaxy are the ones no one expects. Walking along one day in broad daylight on a crowded street, and someone bumps into you ever so slightly. There's a short, sharp pain somewhere delicate, and the next thing you know, you're waking up in a cloning tank, having your memories downloaded into your new brain. The last thing you remember? The nice lady with the crochet bag and the nibbles walking past you. Hutton's outside broadcast team have finally managed to sneak a picture of what was whispered to be the Grand Dame of the dojo, the Regina Percussorum, the one that no one expected. It appears that the Grand Mistress herself sometimes takes on missions in person. Her preference? nighttime manoeuvres by the light of a nearby computer terminal. This picture was taken shortly before she cut the power to the settlement, and after that, all that could be heard was the occasional thump of a body hitting the floor, the ever so silent bzz noise of an overload tool, the muffled whump of a silenced rocket launcher, and of course an occasional clang of a metal implement hitting a helmeted head. When the lights were restored, bodies littered the ground. There were scorch marks and doors ripped off their hinges, looted cabinets, a missing power regulator, hacked terminals, and absolutely no sign of who had perpetrated the single-handed infiltration of the base. Who is this mysterious character? Galaxy's ultimate ninja? We have no idea, but one thing we do know is that when she tells us to do something, we do whatever the Ninja Queen says. Or else.
The Pilots Federation Arcs Exchange appears to have suffered a bit of a glitch in the last week, with commanders eager to get their hands on prefab Pythons and spacesuit cosmetic upgrades reporting that their computer terminals were reporting the store entirely unavailable for a period of 3 days. While normally such things were as a result of significant upgrades or pirate activity of a hacksaw kind, usually with logos on the resulting error page of Salvation Olives or Praise Her Empress Days. This time it was a simple Arc Store Not Found error. As of yet, there's no news from the Pilots Federation as to what happened, why it happened, or whether Mr. Dusty had been charged with computer espionage. A number of eagle-eyed pilots have noticed a number of previously available cosmetic upgrades have mysteriously disappeared from the store. All we have from the Pilots Federation is that they are limited release items and they might be back in the future. But that sounds like a cover-up from us. Was there a paint pot purloining kleptomaniacal attack by person or persons unknown? Did someone nick all the 13 million bolts? Or the glue that sticks the wings to the back of Type 10s? The good news is that everything seems to be back online now, but there has been a stark warning issued by Hutton that if you're a galaxy governing behind the scenes super power that controls everything, do not leave your shed unlocked, do not leave valuables on display, and for goodness sake don't leave the keys to the Arc Store lying around. You never know who's lurking. Oh, and never push that big red button that says update just before going on holiday.
Welcome to the BGS report, where we run down the list of Hutton systems and then reverse back over them just to make sure. Top of the high rollers this week is Treppin. Sitting at 76% influence, we are headed for that inevitable expansion. Honestly, we had to change the red bulbs so many times we ran out and we're having to use the 40-watt fire glow ones. I mean, it doesn't look as urgent, but there's a lovely cosy glow from down that end of the room now. The glows are less cheery from LHS 340, Van Manen Star, LP245-10, PSPF LF2, Wolf 1481 and Wolf 562, which are all a bit above where we'd like them to be. Please leave those ones alone until they sort themselves out. It's all gone wrong in the Renses. They are having an outbreak and a war at the same time. They don't care though. Civil liberty means they're going to party like it's $32.99. We're at war in Kukari too, but they are taking it seriously. You will see some wars in other systems and a retreat from some others, but don't stress, those are systems owned by other player groups, so we leave those alone. Especially the ones owned by the EDF, because they smell like sweaty crotch. There are booms in the Hagkol, Wolf 359, Epsilon Eridani, Stein 2051 and Avic. Don't take cargo to Avic because we don't own anything there, but you can run Hutton missions if you like. The investment state continues in Banter Star, and it's like a fancier, more effective boom state, so same rules apply. But what does it all mean? Well, if you want to truck it, I'd truck it to either Barnard Star or take medical supplies to beleaguered forces in the Renses. If you want to shoot it, then go to Kokari and beat the living shit out of the EDF. Kokari is ours. You can also get over to Narensis and mix it up with the Leuten 347-14 prison colony. Prison rules apply. And that's it for this week's BGS update.
Thank you very much, everybody. I've just about recovered from inserting all those seams. It's...
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
It's like I've never done this before, you know. I don't know how many years now, but my goodness.
It's been a while since you've read the intro.
It has, yes. Normally I use
do that
time.
quite regular.
Yeah,
it must have threw you off.
It definitely threw me off.
The building. That's being thrown off. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, well, look, it's lovely to have you back, Apology Officer.
Yes. Hello.
I mean, so the rumours were that ALAN.
ALAN.
Yes.
Who's ALAN?
They're the Aardvark lovers against nastiness, didn't you know?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, I like them. They wouldn't have to kidnap me. I'd go willingly with them. No, I had a bad attack of the womble crop last week.
Well, so is that what you were trying to indicate while floating outside the window using complicated GSL? We thought you were saying something rude.
I was saying something rude.
Okay. Get me inside now before there's an accident inside my space. I thought you were questioning the parentage of whoever had thrown you out the airlock.
I was.
Oh, right.
But the reason they threw me out the airlock was because of the smells I was making.
Well, it was the gargling noise and the impending doom that was about to happen in the back of your space.
The gurgling that, it started and you went, what's that noise that's coming from inside me? And then you get a good 15 seconds of listening to it and looking at yourself.
Yeah,
and then
it's a bit
that's
like
not good.
In the superhero movie when you see the clock counting down to a really low number and somebody grabs it, throws it out the door and locks the door.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
That's the sort of impending doom the noise was giving us.
I was not a well person.
All right, well, we were aware. They must have just paraded outside the cubicle or something, but ALAN were objecting strenuously to puns made against aardvarks.
Yes.
And having read this week's one,
Yeah. I've made it worse, haven't I?
Yeah. I suspect there might be placards after this week's one. I'm not even going to feed that into Mr. Dusty. I might do, actually. I might do. I've had an idea.
I think you're possibly going to end up overloading yourself by doing things like that.
Yeah, I may have overloaded Mr. Dusty earlier. He had a 28.2%, 30% error rate on things I was telling him. I was asking for a nice hot cup of tea and he was giving me engine oil, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Anyway, so did we have so I better introduce everybody, actually, not just you. We've also got the return of Lithobreaker.
Oh, hello. I am indeed back in England.
Please tell us what on earth happened to you. What was the outside broadcast you were on this week? I mean, I know you were going off to eat sausages. I think that was where it started.
I was in Toulouse, having Toulouse sausage. They were delicious. 30-degree blistering temperatures. It was
and
nice.
You were eating sausages.
And I was eating sausages, yeah.
What's in a Toulouse sausage?
Toulouse.
Oh, okay.
Meat.
Toulouse meat. Yes.
Yeah, in a French sausage, you don't ask questions. You just eat it.
Yeah, you just eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they are delicious.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, how do they get them so curly? I can't believe it's not straight sausage. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm back in England this week, and next week I'm back in Toulouse.
Oh dear.
Oh well, it's hardships,
Yeah, it's terrible over there. I mean, the food is just incredible. the beer is ice cold and delicious, and we found this great Irish bar just next to the hotel, and all the staff in there are either Irish or English, and they've got like 15 different beers on tap, including 2 different IPAs, 3 different American pale ales, some ridiculously strong beers, like up to 8% for a couple of them. So it's terrible having to be there in such hot weather when you're just sitting outside in the sun drinking a pint. I don't know how I put up with it.
Yes.
I'm sure you struggled through though.
I managed somehow.
Just about.
But it's good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Vulkarius is here.
Hello, Vulkarius.
Wait, is he?
Nah, it's an imagination.
No.
Yeah. Good evening, Hutton Orbital.
Good evening, and we've managed to sort of take you away from your Thargoid smashing antics. We're looking forward to your update this week because we read an article, and I'd imagine possibly Galnet News Digest is also going to talk about it, but there's nothing like having your take on what on earth was the was the article all about. But we can cover that bit a little bit later. We have Amelia.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I found out the name of that asteroid that I was talking about last week.
Is it Steve?
No.
Jeff, isn't it?
No.
Finally, I get to do that back to you.
It's close, but no.
Wait, is it Jeff?
No, but very close to Jeff.
So it's not Jeff or Jeff.
It's not Jeff or Jeff. Geoff, yes.
Geoff.
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 Yeah.
You Geoff.
Goof.
Is G off the one that comes after F? Oh no, never mind.
F you off. No. What? No, it's not. No.
So go on. What was the name of the asteroid?
Apophis.
Oh,
see, you were so close.
The one that was totally going to hit us 10 years ago.
Demon of the underworld.
Yeah, apparently it's going to scoot past our planet in the year 2029 on Friday, April 13th at 25,000 miles per hour, and it will be under the weather satellites. So it'll be within like 30,000 kilometers.
Jeez.
So the chief enemy of the king of the gods, yes, the enemy of the sun god Ra, who usually takes the form of a giant snake, and yes, is coming on a near flying.
He used to snatch, dead people. Their souls were travelling to the afterworld. He used to try and snatch them off the barge.
Yep. And he was the bad guy in Stargate SG-1.
He was the bad guy in Stargate SG-1. He certainly was.
So it's actually going to pass under our communication and weather satellites in orbit.
So I know this is basically space news at this point. So you said 30,000 miles.
Yeah, about that.
It's below geostationary orbit.
Hold on.
No,
30,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers.
No, that's not. So 30,000 miles. That's around 48,000 kilometers. 48 megameters. 48,000 kilometers.
It's basically 10 times closer to us than the moon.
Yeah, that's above geostationary. So geostationary.
No. It's documented that it will pass under communication and weather satellites in orbit.
Well, so if the closest,
it's going to be 20,000 miles, 32,000 kilometers.
Right. Okay, that's different. Yeah. So now I agree.
That's a bit squeaky bum time. That's kind of going.
Yeah, it's really close.
So
and how big is it again?
It's like 0.4 miles or something. Hold on.
It sounds like it ought to be in space news with detail.
What is that? What is that in capybaras?
0.45 kilometers. Sorry, is at its longest point.
How many capybaras is that?
It's
many.
0.45 by 0.37 by 0.17 kilometers.
Right. Okay.
So that's going to make if they got the calculations wrong, that's going to make a bit of a mess. I think is the.
It's possibly the most accurately mapped asteroid orbit of any asteroid
surprised.
right at the moment.
If that landed in Glasgow, that could cause several £1 million worth of improvements.
Yes,
and its official designation is 99942 Apophis.
I mean, you imagine if you're the...
That sounds like a chat line.
The astronomer who first finds it and you've got your maths a bit wrong. Oh, look what I've found. Hang on, let me work out. Oh, crap. Dude. You added 3 instead of deducted 3. Oh, thank goodness for that. Yes,
and you just look through your telescope and you go, I can't see the stars. What is that? Oh, I see.
We can't call on Bruce Willis anymore. He's not well. We can't send him up with a big drill.
No, you can't send Bruce Willis up. No, this time.
He's not well. We'd have to find somebody else to go and do it these days.
Yeah.
Well, it passed us 14 million, well, 14 and a bit million miles away in, kilometres in 2013 in January. And similar distance in 2004.
So
it's due back in 2029. The real worry, though, is what that's going to do to its orbit. So the current guess is that in 2036 it'll be 40-odd million miles away. Sorry, kilometres.
Plus or minus 40 million miles, yes.
Well, that's the problem, is that they think they know what it'll do to its orbit, in which case it'll be plus or minus, the really accurate, plus or minus 130,000 kilometres.
So they just sort of might do, hey, look, where's the moon? Has everybody thought, where's the moon when this thing's going past? I have to throw that one out there. Has anybody worked out the big spinny thing that's going around us that controls the tides and all sorts of stuff, you know? You wouldn't want to see a sort of a bit of a Mitterrand Hollow versus asteroid kind of situation going on. You can picture that there's a regular meme that goes around the internet of a moon with something smashing through it, you know, or the Earth. And what would you do if this was something you saw? You know,
well, the current maths on the approach is that in 2029, I should say on the 13th of April, it will pass 38,017 kilometres. Plus or minus 3.4 kilometres.
Oh, that's
like I say, it's one of the most accurately mapped asteroids out there at the moment.
For a very good reason.
So that's now kind of on geostationary orbit. If that's minus 3,000 or so, that might be just slightly within geostationary orbit.
Yeah.
Although, luckily, that's way above Earth imaging, disaster monitoring, GPS, all that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the ISS is at 400 kilometres, so it's
a
number of orders of magnitude further away than the ISS.
It might take out Sky Sports.
It might do, yeah, because obviously
all your
TV's geostationary if you get it that way. The 400-kilometre orbits, altitude orbits, that is, are kind of rare though. Apart from CubeSats, where they dump the tons of them out at like 300 kilometers and they decay within a couple of years. The ISS is kept around 400. It has a pretty quick orbit though. Earth imaging, you're looking at 600 to 800 kilometers, usually in a polar orbit, so that it can see the whole Earth as it rotates.
Here we go. It says here on March 25th, 2021, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory announced that Apophis has no chance of impacting Earth in the next 100 years.
Just all of the satellites in geostationary orbit as it passes through that. Yeah,
that's not how
not all of them. Only one.
Well, they're not exactly likely to turn up.
It won't hit.
Yeah, it's going to hit the Earth.
Of course. If it did hit one, the Kessler syndrome would probably take out the rest. But it's only going to hit one.
Yeah.
Oh well,
we're fine.
And that date will be Derek's 47th birthday.
Hooray!
Right, everybody blame Derek. Yeah, Derek.
Fireworks for Derek's 47.
If it all goes the dinosaurs, Derek, it's your fault. Yeah.
But
Derek, you had one job to do. Don't let a giant asteroid called Apophis crash into the Earth. And what did you do?
Where were you when it hit Patagonia? Oh, well, I was...
blowing out his candles, that's where he was.
Looking at the future near misses, there's 2029, where it's 38,000 plus or minus 3.
Oh, that's right.
2036, where it's 46 million plus or minus 130,000. 2051, 6 million plus or minus a quarter million. 2066, 10 million plus or minus a million. 2116, so quite a way out, so I think we'll all be gone by then. But it's 3 million plus or minus 13 million.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the one.
We haven't got a flaming clue.
Basically.
This is it. Well, it's a lesson in what we call chaos. The definition being high sensitivity to initial conditions.
Yeah,
it's not even that high a sensitivity. It's just that there's so many weird things going to happen in interactions with Mars, with Venus, with the Moon, as you pointed out.
Every time it passes, something alters its orbit in a way.
You know how you all said it was the big bad on Stargate SG-1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tholen and Tucker, the two co-discoverers of the asteroid, are massive fans of the television series, which is why it's named Apophis.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey. Well, we'll keep a close eye on it.
as Vulkarius said, orbits in general are inherently chaotic. So, they're hard to predict beyond a few passes.
Yeah, the Earth imaging ones are generally given little corrections, especially French-owned ones, where they keep those sun synchronous, so they have the same overhead passes at the same time every day.
Yeah, which is really useful for doing image comparisons. But I mean, they can't even make anything reliably orbit the moon because there's weird heavy bits and high density bits underneath the moon's surface called mass concentrations that throw the orbits off. They're just not round.
It's made of Wensleydale grommet.
Basically.
Anyway, I suppose we ought to just push the Space News button because that's what we're doing. So hang on a second.
Yeah.
I'm here too.
Oh, sorry, Flossy. We got waylaid there. Oh, Flossy's here too. No, you're a ninja, Flossy. You're not supposed to announce your presence.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a ninja. Yeah. Sorry, Flossy. Yes, you are here too, ninjaing in the corner.
You just sneak quietly up on one of us while we're talking and...
Ow! Yes.
And that's that.
No, obviously, any rumours that it was Flossy I was talking about are completely untrue. I mean, it definitely didn't look like Flossy at all standing by that terminal in that light.
No, they may or may not be true. You cannot confirm or deny.
We cannot confirm nor deny that it was Flossy who took out that base with a pan, rocket launchers, an overload tool, and an army of ninjas at her side as well, including Rampage.
And a crochet hook.
Yeah, it's the pan that gives it away.
I don't know, could be an imitator, a pan imitator.
Pan? What pan? I didn't hear anything about a pan.
I heard that. Heard that.
Ow. Yes. Right. Now I'll just push this button for goodness sake. Here we go. Look, we're talking about it anyway. Dun, dun, dun. You don't know where to get more space news. You get it from us. Ooh. Not that one. Seems.
Nah, they're not seams. They're just alternative stories.
That was last week.
That was last week's. The dudes who were making water. Anyway, the first one. Oh, sad news this week.
Yeah. It was 90 though.
Oh look, it's done. Do you know what? Every week, go away. There we go. So some of you remember. I'm going to put the picture up first. Some of you will know this incredibly famous picture. From the moon, looking back at the Earthrise picture, which is one of the most iconic space pictures of the last goodness knows how many years. Anyway, was taken by Bill Anders.
Bill Anders, yeah.
Who was on,
wasn't, as Jim said.
Which Apollo mission was he on?
It was on 8, I think.
8. Apollo 8 mission. Anyway, yes, unfortunately, he's had an accident and died in a plane crash at the age of 90.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sad that somebody that iconic is gone. You know, it was taken on Christmas Eve in the 1968 mission. But on the other hand, you know what I mean? If you've spent your life in adventure and flying stuff and flying to the moon and all sorts, you know, going out in a blaze of something at the age of 90, there's sort of some poetic end to his story, shall we say?
Yeah.
It's very sad, but there's something, you know, that didn't go with an illness or old age, whatever. He went off flying a plane at the age of 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a 1968 mission. It was the first crewed space flight to leave Earth and reach the moon. Mm-hmm. When he took this picture.
Mm-hmm.
And they say on this article it's widely credited with motivating the global environmental movement and leading to the creation of Earth Day. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it nearly wasn't taken. But Bill Anders was busy taking photographs of the moon out of a different window, and I think it was Frank Borman reached across and said, "Bill, you need to point the camera out of this window. I'm busy." No. You need to point the camera out of this window now. He looked around and went, "Oh, yeah," and took that.
Kapow! Yes.
Yeah.
You could stare at it for ages, and that little it's almost as famous that pale blue dot image as well as the other sort of memorable iconic one of planet Earth from space.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen the T-shirt with, I think it's that image on it, or one very similar. You can get the T-shirt and it's just got that on the front, and then just above it, it says "bunch of twats."
Well, you see, what they've missed is the asteroids that we were just
they missed the asteroid that should be a big blob right in front of it. You're like, oh no!
Everybody on that planet go, oh my god, the maths are wrong.
You go, oh no, it's Derek's birthday.
Anybody tells you about the importance of studying maths in school, knowing that you're about to die in a fiery asteroid collision with that little blue dot there is one reason why.
Yeah, and then you find out that the guy making the calculations will get a B.
B, I got a C minus in. Oh my god, we're going to die under an asteroid. No.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I mean, sad news, and there are far too few left from these early days of space. You know, those that have been around it, walked on it. You know, all these bits and pieces to do with the moon and that era of space. And it's one I hope we recapture. I think we were mentioning this, and I think Vulkarius was talking about this as well. I know you want your generation ships, but I'm hoping at least in our lifetime we get to see sort of that again. It happen again during my lifetime.
Oh yeah, I mean it'll be a start.
A start, of course. It's always a start. And the spacesuits they were wearing, can't you buy them
5 years?
You can buy them in the ARX store, can't you, Flossy? The ARX store was offline or something, wasn't it? Was that Flossy talking about the ARX store earlier? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that spacesuit he's wearing there, I'm pretty sure you can buy it in the ARX store, can't you? Or one very similar to it, you know, old school 60s spacesuit.
The oldie ones,
yeah. Very retro.
Retro, that's the word I'm looking for, yeah.
Really retro. But so that's our first article. And then Amelia, have you got one eye on the script?
I've got one eye on the script.
Only one?
No eyes on the article.
Well, I'm just lining up, just giving you time, you see.
What,
so
the entire script?
Hang on a second. Ninjas.
Ninjas? That's not on my script.
No, ninjas. Ninjas have attacked. So the next article is all about Space Ninjas 404ing the space news. Because I've just pasted that in, and I'm getting a 404 there. Space Ninjas, go away. There we go. Space Ninjas have gone away again now. So what's our next article? No, I don't want to download antivirus, for goodness sake, Mr. Dusty. Right. Here's a picture of Mr. Dusty on a rock. Tell us about this one.
Chinese probe collects moon samples and heads for Earth. And that picture is of China's Chang'e 6 lander with its robotic arm. And the Chinese flag there.
Excuse me, question from the audience here. Who's taking the picture and leaving that shadow?
Oh, the Chinese are really, really good at setting up selfie cams.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I prefer Chang'e 5 myself, but that's...
They actually mastered the art of having either a little rover that drives off and takes a picture of the main ship, or even just a camera on a spring that gets fired away on the end of a long cable and then points back and takes its picture.
It says it's by a camera-equipped rover. Yeah, there we go, in the image. No, I don't want to remove one. Yeah. And here we go. Here is, see, the really good picture from the rover, and here's the really crap picture from the lander, the thing that's got loads of space for good cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So if all goes according to plan, the orbital will leave the moon's orbit, head back to Earth, drop off the re-entry capsule, which should be retrieved in China's Inner Mongolia region sometime around June 25th.
No, there's no such thing. I thought there was only Outer Mongolia.
Yeah. It's an amazing mission, actually. It's basically they sent a vehicle with a lander into the moon orbit. The lander went down to the moon. The ascent stage of the lander went back up to meet the orbital stage that was still in orbit. Transferred the contents, the sample across. It dropped the lander, and then the orbiter unit headed back towards Earth. Sounds exactly like the Apollo mission plan, but without people on board.
Without the people to slow it down.
Which, funnily enough, is exactly the plan of what they're doing for their moon mission in 2029.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Look, it's picking it up. It's got it.
That's the slowest research limpet I've ever seen.
The biggest question, the biggest question I have is, what are they expecting to find that we don't already know?
Well, they're taking samples from the far side, which is geologically, or should that be selenologically, completely different to the near side. So lots.
Yeah, so they did. The Chang'e 5 brought back samples from the Earth-facing side. So
Told you Chang'e 5 was good. That was a classic.
Yeah. But we don't know why the far side of the moon is so different to the near side. You know how the near side's got a lot
by all the asteroids.
Well, you know how the near side's got those big marias, the seas, the ocean things.
Yeah.
Flat plains. There are none of them on the far side.
Well, that's because it's been battered.
So's the near side.
So yeah, but nowhere near as much as the far side. The far side of the moon
same amount. That's the whole point. It's roughly even where the rocks hit it. There's no real difference between the two sides. So why is one of them got huge melty spots and the other one's something like 10 or 20% more dense?
If you have a look at a map of the far side of the moon, it's just pockmarked.
Yeah, but so should the near side be if it hadn't been for these strange melty bits.
Yeah,
that
because
turned into
the
big
near
flat plains.
side's covered in rare earth elements and potassium and phosphorus and
it's
thorium.
Just completely different geology.
But
and
the
why.
Earth and the Moon did hit one another at one point, didn't they? The reckon bits broke off each one.
The Moon is a bit of the Earth, is the common theory.
But that's what I'm wondering, if it's a bit of the Earth and a bit of something else.
No, it's a massive body called, named Thea, because why not? Hit the Earth, however many billion years it was, about 4 billion years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And smashed
Didn't it get kind of absorbed by us?
Thea did, yeah. It became part of Earth.
So smashed a bit off us, which then landed on the face of the moon, or became the moon?
No, that is the moon. But it can't be quite that simple because orbital mechanics don't quite work that way.
Well, they're talking about the potential that there was a big impact on the moon, which then distributed stuff around the moon, but for some reason it leaned towards the Earth, maybe because of gravity and things. So all the stuff got pulled around to the near side. Magnets,
it was magnets,
big fans.
But getting some samples from the far side will help us prove and disprove loads of theories.
If it disproves something, that's as valuable as proving something.
Yeah.
Nearly. Or could it do with cooling? So the moon's far side cooled faster, but the near side, because the Earth's hot, remained hotter for longer?
No, because the tidal locking is a relatively recent thing.
Let's let Chang'e
it does kind of
tell us.
It does kind of wibble a little.
Not wibbles, yeah.
Libation.
Wibbles.
Yeah, wibbly wobbly moon. There's a sci-fi novel there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah,
several probably.
Everybody knows it's a big egg.
Yeah, well, it's going to hatch one day.
I just wish it had been more like what was it? Was it the Asimov book? Was it Fall of Moon Dust? The one where the moon's actually made of dust and they have to, ships have to ski over it, and somebody fell in and then it got clogged up and people got trapped in the. Was it a Fall of Moon Dust? That one? Somebody else must know.
I don't remember what it was called, but don't think it was an Asimov, but I do know the story. Yeah.
And you Arthur C. Clarke. Sorry, not Asimov.
Yeah.
Arthur
I was going to say. I've read quite a bit of Asimov, and I don't remember that one at all.
No, Arthur C. Clarke's Fall of Moon Dust, where a dust cruiser sinks about 15 meters below the surface of the dust on the moon, and people get trapped. And I don't know why that's not been made into a movie or something. Or maybe because it's the moon.
Because the moon's not made out of dust. Yeah.
Well, back in the late 50s, early 60s, it was one of the genuine concerns for the moon probes that they were sending. Yeah. Would they just sink into the dust or not?
Yeah.
The other one was there a massive static charge there, or would it catapult them straight back
sorry,
into
Amelia?
orbit?
Do you know what I want to know?
Well, go on then.
What do you want to know?
Who owns the moon?
Oh, let me get started on that
now.
One.
Steve, Jeff,
Alan.
Right.
Those guys, they're on screen. They own the moon. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there is a treaty, fantastically named Outer Space Treaty. Says it belongs to everyone, and that any exploration has to be carried out for the benefit of all humankind and in the interest of all nations. That was the UN. Sadly, all the people who've been to the moon never signed up for it.
Yeah, it also expires relatively soon. It's up for renegotiation.
Yeah. I know, for example, like the Americans never signed up to it. Chinese never signed up to it. Don't think the Indians signed up to it. Or
is it a bit like
it doesn't cover private
Antarctica then?
enterprise.
It's supposed to be a bit like Antarctica. Yeah.
You know,
apparently they're non-binding.
They don't feel like
agreements
putting
anyway.
an Earth flag on it. You know, they put Americans were here, and hey, look, Chinese were here. Did anybody watch that comedy Space Force, the recent one? Wasn't there a whole sequence in that where the two nations landed on the moon and they ended up going to try and smash each other's bases up and
Is
things?
that the one starring the same guy that was in The Office?
Yes,
American
Carroll.
version.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought it was really, really funny and apt, and then a lot of the things that were in it then actually happened, even though it was supposed to be parody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was a sequence in that where two countries land on the moon and they decide to take the rovers over to go and smash the other people's base up. You know, and I can see that. Oh, we got here first. No, we got here first. Well, apparently, America in 2015 said. Hang on a second, I'm just trying to find the bit of the article that said that.
It's a bit of a land grab, I think.
It's a bit of a land grab that anybody's allowed to mine. Here we go. The US passed a law allowing its citizens and industries to extract, use and sell any space material. They passed in 2015.
Well, my dad owns an acre of land he did own an acre of land on the moon, so
is
they
this
better not go
real
there.
owned, or is this a bit like these Scottish lairdhips?
It's a bit like the Scottish lairships thing. I think
It's
NASA
even
reserves
less
the right
legit than the Scottish lairships.
I think NASA reserves the right to mine on your land. But my dad did say if anybody can near his piece of land, NASA or no, he was going to go for them with a shotgun. So
I hope he's a really accurate shot from Glasgow.
I don't think it mattered. I think we were into kind of space fantasy time by that point. You know, it was like I'll just blast them.
Well, I do love the way that sort of people are saying, "Oh, well, it ought to be sort of governed through the United Nations." Apart from all the countries that ignore what the United Nations say, Russia,
yeah. Who are all the countries
the UN
actually
does such a good job down here on Earth.
Those are all the countries who've been to the moon. Like I say, the USA never signed up to that agreement.
I quite like the matter of who owns space stuff because on Earth, it's going to like awaken a lot of people to the questions of like, how do lots of different people define who owns what? Because like just listening to all those definitions, I'm just thinking about them in historical context, and I probably shouldn't go into it. I'll probably say a few spicy
Well,
things.
let's talk about the colonization of the Americas, shall we say, by Western European countries, and then
for example, if you take what was that treaty thing you had, that definition, that sounded a lot like the property definition of a country in Europe with an Austrian painter.
Well, yes.
You think people
with the
that are
funny
going to the
moustache,
moon?
yes.
Think people are going to the moon maybe need a bit of living space then?
Could be.
Just a bit. Do you think if you're on the moon, you think you need more Lebensraum and you wonder where to get it?
I do think one of the limiting factors at the moment is going to be that the moon is very big. There's lots of space, and it's not like sort of, oh look, we found a country, let's plant a fag and plant our crops. And, hey, we'll all live there and
there's
breed.
only a couple of places.
There is a limiting factor to it.
Yeah. So I presume to some people, planting a flag may mean that you own it. I guess. To others, if it's for the good of everyone, air quotes, then that's that kind of definition of property, the 1930s Germany one. To some people, if you invest in it or if you act to defend it, then it's your property, and it's just completely different world.
And to some people, property is theft. And you can't actually own the bloody thing because
but
it's not your
that's
property
mostly
in the
people
first
that don't
place.
have any.
And to some others, property is fleeting. Ownership is fleeting. Everything is meaningless.
Well, what's the old definition? The only bit of land that will ever truly be yours is the bit you're buried in.
Well, do you know what? I think
you might have to share.
I think I'm going to get scattered over some. That way I'll have more.
Oh, you could go to James Doomway and be scattered into orbit.
Yeeted.
Yeah.
You could get yeeted somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to get yeeted out into space. I mean, not cremated first, just yeeted into space.
There's some
off you
Scottish
go.
from Star Trek's Ashes in space.
Yes, Yes.
I mean, a large portion of them got sent up on a suborbital rocket and came down somewhere in New Mexico. Nobody really knows where.
Okay.
But some also got smuggled onto the ISS.
Yes.
Well, here's one for you.
Smuggled.
Are there any parts of the surface of this planet that aren't claimed by somebody?
Not a planet, it's a moon.
No, this planet, Earth.
This
Oh, this planet.
Antarctica.
Yeah,
International waters.
I was going to say.
What about on the habitable land masses?
Ooh, probably
Yeah,
not.
I think they've
What
all
about
been fighted up.
what about Gibraltar? Does that?
Well, no, I think
that's
more than one
claimed by
person
multiple
claims
people.
that one. Yes. Well, there are a couple of bits. There's a little bit between Egypt and Sudan, where Egypt says it belongs to Sudan and Sudan says it belongs to Egypt, called
Oh, that must
Beer
be really horrible.
It must be. It must be just. I don't want it. No, you have it. No, really, you have it.
have it. No,
Yeah.
no. You
Oh,
have
they're
it.
trying to give it. They're trying to. Oh, I misheard that. They're actually trying to give it to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you have it. No, it's
You
yours.
There
have
was
the
a-
bit of
there
land.
was
I don't
a-
want
there
the
was a-
piece of land. Do you have the piece of land? I
was
wonder
a
if
really
it's
good
got
story
something
about-
horrible on it.
There was this great story about it was the island of Svalbard, which is just off the north of Norway, about how was it the King of Norway and the King of Sweden disagreeing over who owns it and rolling dice.
Now that's a bit big Indian, little Indian, or something. That's definitely a bit.
The legend
I
there
think
goes that
that's-
the King of Norway threw the dice so hard that it broke in two, and the total pips showing were 7. Thus, he won.
Hey.
Svalbard's one of the seed banks, isn't it? The genetic repositories.
Yeah. Oh, there's thing as well. What's is it Doggerland? But it doesn't really suffer. It doesn't really come above the North Sea anymore, does it?
Well,
that
I mean,
used to-
as far as I'm aware, there's only one bit, and there's that bit that neither Sudan nor Egypt want. But there may be others. But
Scotland should take that and have an empire.
well, just that bit just south
that
of
bit, that'll
Hadrian's
be
Wall,
the-
and say
That'll-
no.
Yeah. That'll be the colony. Just that bit between Sudan and Egypt that nobody else wants. We'll go, yeah, we'll have that.
Well, doesn't Australia have a bit?
Don't
that
have an
they
empire.
send-
Just open a pub.
Yeah. Just push all the rocks into either side and go, no, the rocks are yours. We're not having them.
Doesn't Australia
that
have a
would be
bit? There's a
brilliant.
dangerous island. They send people who are sort of there illegally. That's so full of dangerous stuff, and they say, "No, it's not ours, and law doesn't
No, that-
apply." Or is that a
That
myth?
is
That's just
that is
Australia.
yeah.
No, it's. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to think where it was. I remember reading about it somewhere. Anyway, but they basically said Australian law doesn't count there, and so you can all bugger off there, and it's dangerous. It may be a myth completely. Maybe Chat can tell me, but I did think there was one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Right, is that
look, there's a Thargoid and Space Alan or Steve on the moon and floating in space. And look, that's after the
Yay.
asteroid hit. There we go.
right? So we're done with space news.
So
Another space
Thargoid
news.
with legs, arms, a gun, and a face.
Yeah, and there's Alvin in his little holiday dome. And anyway, right. I think that's space news. So I suppose we all want
Space
to go.
news. The space news out music. We need the outro.
Yeah, hang on a second, and then we're going to go to Vulkarius. So we'll do out
Yeah.
music first.
When you don't know where to get more space news, 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 space news.
And now, it's time for Vulkarius. Intro theme,
Hi.
intro theme, intro theme. Vulkarius.
Okay, that's enough of that. So we had a great week at Indra. We managed to reduce 91 systems down to 65. And given some focus on the remaining Spire sites, I think we'll be able to push that down even faster this week. So in the overhaul a few weeks ago, Spire sites became a finite resource. We were looking at total Spire progress worth around 66 systems versus 80 needed. But thanks to Titan rescues and all the direct action that we've been doing this week and last, it's now more like 51 to 54. So definitely favour pushing the Spire sites. They will absolutely should cover all the remaining systems of Indra by that time. Also, something which got kind of lost it was page 6 of the overhaul announcement thread. The community manager, Phil Weeks, actually announced that any action within a Spire system will count. So that means you'll still need Odyssey to access the Spire sites and kill Banshees or do the on-foot sabotage, but if you only have Horizons, you can also do conflict zones and salvage and anything a normal control system has. So that's definitely worth considering. I know I've said you need Odyssey up to now, but you can totally do it in Horizons. Speaking of forum threads, those of you watching the Thargoid War thread may have noticed that we did a little midweek operation at Imperial Navy Intervention and Rescue called Operation Park and Ride. Quite simple. Basically, it was just to clear the system NN3281, which is right next to the Titan. It's like 3 light years away. So thank you to everyone who helped us out with that. This is great for parking fleet carriers right in the middle of Indra. And anytime you need to get past Indra or through it or get around the other side to reach all these control systems, you can just jump to NN3281 and just go straight through the middle. Speaking of special operations, well done to Operation Ida, who have actually now worked out what we're supposed to do in recovery systems. Up until now, delivering supplies looked like it did basically nothing, but it turns out if you focus the deliveries and actually complete one specific port in the system, that actually then, like, once the port completes, that speeds up the recovery and ends it early. It's not absolutely necessary, of course, but it does open up the system for fleet carriers if you can get that recovery state cleared. And as we all know, good carrier space fairly hard to find around the Titans. So by all means, if we've just cleared a system, goes into recovery, and it's only got one port, for example, you can actually get the port repaired and the system will be open for business. Anyway, this week, alerts are getting absolutely hammered. Although they're also getting completed really quickly, so clearly all of Cecil's Centauri Megagen must be working. If you want to evacuate passengers, though, quite lucrative missions in the alert systems, but you'll have to be quick, because those will be probably all gone by the weekend. We have 32 Counter-Strike systems at Indra this week, so Titan rescues should, again, keep everything topped up while we hit the Spire sites. Heerde Sector DX-H-A11-1 is still the nearest Spire. HR 1358 looks like it's going to attack us. But as usual, any Spire systems are fine, whether you're at the site with Odyssey or in conflict zones with Horizons. And that's it.
Ooh. Right, well, there's a question from the floor from a Commander JT for you. Which system in the middle of Indra I was almost paying attention?
Oh, right. It's NN3281, which I'll write it in the chat just now. Hold on.
I've done it for you. There you go. November Mike 3281. Oh, NN.
Negative. It's November 3281. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay. I'm sorry. That's my dodgy headphones there. Right. The other question from the floor was this article, which may or may not be in the Galnet News Digest in a minute, about Aegis wary about changing Thargoid behaviour, and Dr. Ivano Colombera, Imperial Science Academy, which I think you're a graduate, aren't you, of the Imperial Science Academy yourself?
No, we're military. We have our own academy.
Oh right, okay, fine. Well,
so the Science Academy is just civilian, whereas we ultimately to Denton Petraeus as the.
Yeah, you're from the Academy of Percussive Science, yes. Yeah, right. Anyway, the director of Xenological Studies and also Empire Liaison to Aegis has been talking about a change in Thargoid behaviour, and we have noticed that Arthur has been putting up his usual pictures of the Emperor from Star Wars, sort of turning and looking pointedly at the camera. In relation to this article, where they say that I believe the Thargoids are consolidating and planning with the likely aim of reinforcing the final 4 Titans to prevent further losses. Do you see any indication that this is the case?
Well, so before they had everything. So the like really inner systems, like the one we just took, we wouldn't have been able to do that before. They had basically had absolutely everyone there. We're talking hundreds times more forces than their peripheral systems. Now they've kind of evened things out. So it's kind of difficult to take any system, although we can take a few, but now the difference is we can take a few. So
I mean, the impression I get from the article is that you better hurry up, or else. I think is it says Aegis has urged pilots across the galaxy to take this warning seriously and work to end the war before the Thargoids have time to retaliate. I mean, that's just hurry up or else, isn't it? We've got new things to release as a pilots federation. Or am I misreading that? You can't have new toys until after you've beaten the Thargoids. That's what it reads to me.
Well, I mean, Aegis, though, the legitimacy of opinions being spouted by Aegis. In the past, they've come up with a fair bit of bunkum. They've definitely tried to Jargogle us. They've definitely tried to, was it Ramfeasel us?
Right. I mean, they name certain organisations like AXI. Obviously, we're familiar with AXI. But SNPX and MUD. Do we know who SNPX and MUD are?
I know who SNPX is. That is the Stellar Nebula Project.
Right, and Mudd with 2 Ds. Harry Mudd, famous of Star Trek.
No, but I'll look it up real quick.
MUDD. Apparently they've been noticing things. I don't know why they get to be name dropped, and Vulkarius and Hackswing and all that lot don't, but hey ho. And Auntie Ida, of course. Or is it IDA?
So MUDD, it comes up with the Order of Dripnificy.
The Order of not being able to pronounce stuff. What?
Dripnificence?
Right.
Yeah, the Order of Dripnificence. Not a small squadron, 287.
No, so medium sized then. Yeah. They have a monthly issue magazine.
Oh, hold on.
Published in 2022.
So apparently the name of the squadron is the Order of Dripnificence, but in the description, it's Mors Universalis Demolition Division. So right. I think that's where MUD comes from. So MUDD is Mors Universalis Demolition Division.
Yeah, Commander Ostigari and friends. Okay, well, we don't know who they are, but we may have to find out who they are for future stuff. Well, look, thank you very much for the update.
This is why. So we don't tend to we try not to name drop squadrons because
you mean you haven't stuck a flag in it and claimed it? Have you signed the wrong treaty?
We don't try to. We try not to name drop squadrons because there are so many, all helping, and we appreciate absolutely everyone helping. The problem is there are far too many to name, and if we start doing that,
yeah, and there aren't big enough umbrellas. That's the problem. There aren't enough umbrellas to put everybody in the category.
Yeah, I mean, especially at Indra, there are so many populated systems in total at Indra. It's so dense. There are so many total systems at Indra, but there are so many.
Vulkarius says Indra are dense. Right? Okay, I'm quoting you on that next week.
That there are just lots and lots and lots of squadrons, more so than at some of the other Titans.
One wonders whether Thargoids have squadrons, and do the squadrons have names? Idle musings.
That's probably a more intelligent question than wherever Aegis was thinking when they wrote that. When they wrote that article.
Fair enough.
As an example, I suppose, like if you take Ligong, for example, there was, well, apart from squadrons that kind of dance around all over the place, there was the Knights of Assyrian were the kind of the main defenders there, but then like they're not the only ones either, so I wouldn't want to suppose that they were the only defenders at Ligong. Stellar Nebula Project were almost entirely at Oya, which we've destroyed. They're still helping. I still see their fleet carriers around. So they're not doing nothing. But I don't know why Aegis would have chosen them specifically over anyone else really. So.
Bribery, corruption. Anyway,
yeah, and I mean, and at Haddad, of course, Levingi's Legion have been helping us a lot at Haddad. So yeah,
I'm just reading up about Ligong and the origins of the name.
Oh well, they're all storm gods and such. So.
Yes. This will be a Chinese one. Jade Emperor instructed Ligong to only kill bad people. And the sky got really dark whenever he struck people. Anyway, somebody dumped some rice husk or something in a river, so Ligong zapped them with lightning. There you go. And they use mirrors, apparently, to shine light upon the earth, so Ligong can see who he hits. Right, okay. I'm going to have to read up on this one. Giant space mirrors, Ligong. Okay.
The funny thing with these names, though, is that each of them, there's... I think for every single one, there's something else in the galaxy also called that. So for most of them just have systems also with those names. There is a system called Lie Space Gong.
Right, so as long as your sat-nav's been programmed properly with, don't avoid dangerous Thargoid Titan spaces, you'll get to one of them eventually.
Yeah, there's a system called Tyrannus, there's a system called Raijin. I think there's a system called Kokijo, or however the hell you pronounce that. Haddad, there probably is. There's a star called Oya, not a system, but you can still totally search it though.
Yep, the star system Haddad. Just looking at the Haddad system, currently owned by the Alchemy Den, squadron size not very big, traffic 0 to 5 commanders.
And Indrid's even worse because it's a Titan. And it's a system, and it's also a megaship, which was in a Galnet article about the Thargoid Wars.
It's just very confusing. Incredibly confusing. Right, well, we're going to head off now. Flossie.
Yes?
We're not going to do you just yet, because we've got the other bit first. I'm just checking you're ready for your bit.
Yes, I'm ready.
Now, I'm gonna hit the magic button to turn off the Vulkarius. And, I'll leave Vulkarius on screen. You keep telling the briefing room what they're doing. Handing over to Amelia and the Apology Officer now.
So, do we have a word of the week?
We do have a word of the week. Word of the week this week is finifugal.
Finifugal. What does that mean?
It's being afraid of finishing anything.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Yes, I can. My finifugal is so bad that I...
For anyone interested, it is now coming across your screen in the form of a headline.
Yes.
A ticker,
including
yep, there we go.
Well, Amelia
including
does
the
that.
spelling and the meaning.
Well, Amelia does that.
Which
Batman game?
Forced.
Which Batman game do Anteaters play?
Batman game?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Which Batman game?
2.
Number 6.
It's no. It's Batman Aardvark Asylum.
As shown on screen right now.
Aardvark!
I would have thought they were more into Ant-Man myself.
Oh.
There's some R2-D2s there on screen as well.
Yeah, just Mr. Dusty. So I told Mr. Dusty I needed a picture, right, of Alan the Space Aardvark dressed as Batman, and it said, I can't do that because of copyright restrictions. So I said, well, can I have someone dressed as can I have an Aardvark dressed as a Caped Crusader resembling slightly a bat? And so it drew R2-D2 next to it. So I then said, you can't draw Batman. How the heck can you draw R2-D2? I said, that's not R2-D2. It just looks like it.
Is that an ornithopter in the background as well?
Yeah.
Have you seen that he's in Alan space?
Everywhere is named Alan.
Yes, Alan Space. Yes. Apparently that's Space Gotham with Space Alan, Aardvark Batman, and definitely not 2 R2-D2s. They just look like it, apparently.
And definitely not an ornithopter from Dune in the sky.
Well, that looks more like the... if you watch Howl's Moving Castle, the thing that the flying thing that all of the bad guys fly out of when they attack him, has big square wings like that one. Anyway, right, Flossie, no idea which tune it is this week. I hope you've got something to talk about, and then afterwards you're apparently running away to ninja things.
Right.
I was spying on you. I saw that. I said, no, I'm going to leave early so I can go ninja things. Yep.
No, it's not happening now.
Oh.
When the universe is in trouble, bug infestations in the bubble. Your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do when your faction leader's a dog and your daily tasks are a slog? You're feeling like a used cog. What on earth can we do now? Interstellar initiatives. Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy says. Interstellar initiatives. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is. Then you can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says. Listen to what Flossy says. What on earth can we do? Do what Flossy tells you to. What if she talks nonsense?
Okay, off you go. 2 weeks in a row, you've had the long one, Flossy.
Yeah.
It's greedy, that is.
Get involved with this. You should
Listen to Flossy
now. We heard what Flossy said.
Oh, it's the super long
Can put this matter to bed. Just keep a voice in your head. Flossy told you what to do.
Oh, is that the end? Yes. Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. Last week we had 2 CGs. Provide aid to Decamina Station finished at Tier 2 with 26 billion. I think I missed some figures out there. Oh no, provide aid is the, 26,347,328 units collected. And repel pirates, that's what I was thinking of, from the Decamina station, finished around 9:20 BST Sunday morning at Tier 4, with 70,376,016,086 credits earned. The rewards for both CGs were top 50% of contributors, duty counter paint job for the Federal gunship. Top 25% of contributors, duty counter paint job for the Federal corvette, as well as the Federal gunship. And, well, that's a lot for now. There's no new CGs this week. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Right. Well, thank you for that from Flossy. At least there's actually been some CG news recently, so it's better than a nothing this week announcement. Let's see if there's any Galnet news. Over to Beetlejude and Waterspoon.
Galnet News Update, 13th of June 3310. Outgoing Vice President Jerome Archer has called for Hudson to be given a second 10-year term as President, in the light of the continued failure of President-elect Winters to show up to be sworn in. Hudson, who so far served 11 years of his first 10-year term in office, was appointed in June 3301 following the disappearance of President Jasmina Halsey, after Hudson's close friend Fleet Admiral Vincent organised the sabotage of the presidential flight. President-elect Winters briefly served as acting president before Congress threw out the Liberal administration and installed Hudson. She waited 10 long years to right that wrong, finally winning the popular vote in the general election of October 3309. However, in the light of a natural disaster affecting her home planet, she seems to have completely lost interest in becoming president, and has allowed President Hudson and Vice President Archer to continue running the superpower. Speaking at the conclusion of the successful campaign to drive pirates out of the Lushartha system, Archer questioned whether Winters is capable of governing and whether her proposal to disband the Proactive Detection Bureau and concentrate instead on making the lives of federal citizens more fulfilling can cut the mustard when it comes to driving back small groups of heavily outnumbered pirates valiantly attacking single stations in high-security corporate systems. President Hudson was denied the chance in 3308 to change the law to allow himself a second 10 years in office. Archer appealed today for Congress to revisit that decision in the light of what he described as Winters' ongoing conspicuous absence. And it's certainly true that the longer Winters fails to turn up to take office, the more the federal electorate are likely to think that they made the wrong choice, and the more likely it is that Hudson and Archer will gain a second term by default.
Mia! Apology, officer.
Bloody hell, I didn't know it was me. Thank you to Beetlejuice and Witherspoon. I'm off the hook now.
And now it's time for the Galnet Rares Digest. Ninja.
What's a Galnet Rares Digest?
Ninja one. An absolute slip this one under the radar.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, Jim's still writing it. That's why I didn't know I didn't meet my cue because I didn't have one.
There we go.
This is going to be the short Galnet Rares.
Short, nice.
She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
Karsuki locusts! Yum! I've eaten them all this week, so you don't have to. Oh, they're so good. They really are good.
They are. If you've not had one, go buy some. You know, there's
They're
an
not
article
exactly
about it.
dangerous, though, are they? Unless you get a wing case and
Oh,
cut in
didn't
your
you?
throat.
Oh, the article about Karsuki locusts.
But
Oh,
was it the sugar coated one, or the chocolate coated one, or the caramel coated one, or was it the plain one?
oh, the chili ones, the Ucheng chili dusted ones.
Ucheng chili.
Yes.
Karsuki.
Oh, my
Ucheng,
goodness.
Ucheng
If you
chili.
want, if you want the collywobbles, have the Ucheng chili dusted, special crispy.
You mean the
Yeah,
one?
I think you have to pay extra for collywobbles, though.
I thought the collywobbles was the feeling you get of anticipation.
No, that's what
Did
happens
you
when
do
you
it?
eat too many of the
Although-
chili ones.
Although also good, 3 minutes
Yeah.
in the air fryer, dusted with smoked sea salt, just in a bowl, flip them a bit with some smoked sea salt. Yummy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah,
little bit of sesame oil on
collywobbles
them.
was that was stomach pain from nervous anxiety.
Yes. Yeah. Wobblecropped was just extreme digestive discomfort.
Yeah, that's when you've had a titty nope too many Karsuki locusts.
Yes, just a titty nope though. Yeah.
Anyway,
the other thing is it will give you the finifuggle, so you won't be able to finish them.
No, you have to keep eating them, otherwise they hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you get the finifuggle and you can't eat the last one.
Oh, maybe just sort of tipping the packet upside down and patting it, and it's just stuck in the bottom of the packet. That always happens.
No, you don't want to do that though, because if you get the finifuggle, you're scared of finishing, so you have to leave one.
Or you're scared of finishing. Oh dear.
Yes.
It's a phobia.
That was this week's word of the week.
Oh, I thought it was a couldn't finish, not scared of
Is
finishing.
it finifuggle or finifuggle?
I think it's finifuggle, just for the way it's
Or
spelled.
is it finifical?
Finifigal.
No, it's to do with finishing. Finishing. It's finis.
Finny, talking about finishing, right? Well, it is 21:59. Flossy needs to go ninja things. Vulkarius needs to go and very obviously destroy Thargoids. I need to go and stitch up some seams. Lithobreaker needs to go and recover from excessive sausage eating. The apology officer is probably building mini space Glasgow. You just need to go. Yeah, just go.
Apparently, it's a bit late now, so.
Right, so as is traditional at this time in the show, we decide, a bit like last week, to go and raid somebody. Now, last week, we went to raid somebody, and they combat logged on us just before the raid landed. So we're going to pick somebody else.
Who were they again?
Oh, I've no idea. I've forgotten the name already. They were that terrible. So we found somebody out. Commander Chris Maver is streaming. I have no idea what they're streaming, but they've only got one viewer. They need a few viewers. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisper for the mug, and we're going to play some credits, and then I think we've got the country and western theme tune still this week. And at the end of that, hang around. We'll drop into some unsuspecting streamer, give them a for the mug, and that's it for this week. Now, who's in next week?
You do know that Chris Maver's a non-English streamer, so that could get confusing.
We won't do that one then.
Well, how about Rose Tequila?
What?
Rose Tequila. She's currently
Tequila.
streaming Elite Dangerous, and her UA is, what do you get when you cross a joke with a rhetorical?
Okay, yes, done. Yes.
Yeah,
that's our kind of subject line there. Rosa Tequila, be careful what you wish for. You're about to have Hutton Truckers turn up on you. Right. So we're going to go do that. Who's in next week?
I am.
I think I am.
No.
He's eating sausages again.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here.
Hoping for some duck this time.
It'll be horse meat. You know it's horse meat all the time.
I might
Horse meat's
or
good.
might not be. I think it's Henry's final exam. I've got to check when his prom is, but I'm banished from the house. So I have to double check. It's either
Well,
the
we'll
20th
see how
or
it
21st.
goes. Yeah.
Because my son's chucking a party and wants his dad out the house when he chucks a party because, Dad, you're so cringe.
Yeah, you are cringe. Sorry. Yeah.
So I'm just sending his aunt in instead, and she's like twice as cringe.
Yeah. Why don't you just sit in the garden in a folding deck chair and just stare at them through the window?
Well, because they'll be 4 floors up. They're banished up to the yes.
Yeah. Well, get a cherry picker then. There's one at the back for me.
Beep, beep. My face comes over the edge
just
of the
coming up to the window
every now and again.
just,
Oh,
with your arms folded, glaring.
just looking at them and pointing, and then beep, beep, beep as it goes down again. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I've got mental images on that. Right. Okay. Well, we're going to go and do the end of the show thing. Is anybody, just in case, is anybody in emergency standby button pushing mode for next week? Just in case.
No.
It says anybody. The only other one is you.
Yes. No, I need to go through all of the buttons.
Right,
again
Little
with-
Grey, you're up. Yep. Yes. Okay. Well, we'll work out something. You don't have to take my laptop wherever I am. You may find me on a remote laptop with no buttons and things. Hey! Oh, but I've got the app working, which means I can do it on my mobile.
Or we could have a week off.
Just link it all with voice attack as well, and you can just do it by talking to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, and off it goes, yes.
It's just Brian Blessed shouting bollocks for an hour and a half. Bollocks! See?
Better content than the usual show, then.
Yeah.
Bollocks! Oh, yes. Right, okay.
Yes.
End of the show. Credits and then a random raid. Ta-ta for now. Thank
For
you,
the
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Flossie.
Bye, Bob.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Flossy.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm not going anywhere. Bye.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. Father Mac, Father Mac. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, Father Mac. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Mac, Father Mac. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, Father Mac. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. Father Mac, Father Mac. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, Father Mac. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Mac, Father Mac. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, Father Mac. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?